This is Stephanie Lazarus. She killed Sherri Rasmussen, her ex-boyfriend's new wife, in February 1986. But how did she manage to get away with this horrible crime for this long? 23 years after committing the crime, Stephanie found herself in an interrogation room, but it wasn't for the reason she was thinking. She believed she was invited to assist the detectives with a case involving stolen art. However, she had been deceived by the detectives, who had tricked her into the interrogation room to question her about the murder of Sherri Rasmussen. They had not invited her for advice, as they told her earlier. The detectives had to be exceptionally well prepared for this case, given that Stephanie wasn't an ordinary suspect, she was a detective herself. This made their job potentially much more challenging, as she understood how the game works. As soon as the conversation began, the detectives asked her if she knew John Ruetten.
Do you know John Ruetten?
Who is John Ruetten? John Ruetten was Sherri Rasmussen's husband, and he was in a relationship with Stephanie before his marriage. When the detectives asked about John Ruetten, she paused and pretended not to remember his name very well. However, that was the first red flag because John had been Stephanie's second longest relationship. Stephanie became stressed as soon as the conversation started. Imagine thinking you had gotten away with murder for 23 years, only to suddenly find yourself facing interrogation.
Do you know John Ruetten?
John Ruetten?
Ruetten.
Oh yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Gosh, I went to school in, let's see, went to UCLA in 1978 I started, and, met him at school at the dorms.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends. I mean, what's this all about?
Her facial expressions and words showed that she was trying to act like she really forgot and was confused. She was trying to be very careful with what to say because she didn't want to say something that could be used against her. That's why she repeatedly emphasized that it was a long time ago and that she couldn't recall much.
It's been a long time ago. I may have met her.
Yeah.
It's been a million years ago. I mean, what year is it now? 2009? I mean, I graduated in 82.
Stephanie eventually asked the detectives why she was being questioned about John and his wife. She wanted to know if she was a suspect in the crime.
You said I was going to interview somebody about art, and how you guys are...
Here's
I mean...
Stephanie, here's the situation. It's basically, we knew that this, when we saw this in this chrono, that maybe, there was some relationship there. That's what the chrono seemed to indicate, and we didn't want to come up to you at your desk and ask those kinds of questions or do anything. You know how up there people can see what's going on if you go into an interview room or people are in there getting supplies.
Okay.
So we wanted to afford you some privacy, some confidentiality to talk about this because we thought it might be, something, you're married to someone else, obviously, and so forth, and that you may not want to, talk about these things in that setting where someone, we don't want the rumor mill or gossip or any of that kind of stuff to start.
That's fine. I mean...
So we did this just as a means to try and speak to you in just a confidential place where where your business isn't out there for other people in your division to know about.
The detectives intentionally avoided her question, putting her in a difficult position. She had two unappealing options. Either continue speaking with the detectives without a lawyer, which is the worst move a suspect can make in an interrogation room, or leave the room and refuse to talk to the detectives, which would make it seem like she considered herself a suspect. The detectives were clever and used this tactic to get her to say more before she decided to remain silent or leave the room. When asked how long she and John had dated, Stephanie was completely speechless, clearly unprepared for such a simple question.
You said you dated John. How long did you guys date?
I mean, are you guys, is this something...
She appeared stressed and panicked, diverting the conversation away from the question. Frustrated and confused, Stephanie repeatedly asked the detectives again, what is it all about? But the detectives avoid her question and increase pressure on her.
I mean, what's this all about? I mean...
Well, let me ask you, what ended the relationship between you and John?
It was kind of a weird relationship. I mean, we dated. I can't say that he was my boyfriend. I don't know that he would consider me his girlfriend. We dated. We did things. I played sports in college. He played basketball. His brother played basketball. It just it didn't work out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It was like, I went out with other guys, saw other guys, I went on lots of vacations, you know.
While being questioned, she went off track, giving too much information and taking a long time to answer so she could decide whether to tell the truth or not.
How long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez. I couldn't even say. I mean, I started school there in 78.
Mm-hmm.
I started UCLA in 1978.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 82. I don't even remember what year he graduated, if it was a year or two before me.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit older than I was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I can't remember if he was born, let's say I'm born in 1960. I don't know if he was born in 58 or 59. I mean, I knew his parents, I knew his sister, his brother went to Northridge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his sister spent the night at my house before. Obviously, I spent the night at his house before. He probably spent the night at my house before. You know,
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because from what you're telling me, is you guys dated while you were in college together, right?
Yeah, and probably after college. I can't. Geez, I'm trying to think when I met my husband. I met my husband in. When did I meet Scott? Let's see.
Since she isn't well prepared for these simple questions, she's finding it difficult to provide clear answers while trying to avoid saying anything that might make her appear guilty. Stephanie keeps repeating that it happened a long time ago, and she even describes it as feeling like a million years.
Again, I mean, what, you know, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
What did you hear about that?
I saw a poster at work. I'm sure I spoke to him about it. I think I spoke to another friend of his about it.
And how did you first learn about that?
Jeez. Someone could have called me. I could have heard it at work. I think at one point there may have been a flyer or something.
Stephanie changed her story multiple times, initially unsure if she had even met Sherri, and later suggesting that she might have had a conversation with her.
Did you know her?
Not really. I mean, I knew that he got married years ago.
Uh-huh. Did you ever meet her?
God, I don't know.
Do you know who she was or anything?
Well, let me think. God, it's been a long time ago. I may have met her. Geez. You know.
Is everything okay between you guys? I mean, there was never anything uncomfortable or anything between you and her?
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, uncomfortable. I mean, I can't even remember if we had a conversation. I mean, we may have. I may have seen her at his apartment. You know, geez, how many years ago is that? I don't even know what year she, you know, got killed.
Stephanie eventually realized that the detectives had brought her in as a suspect, but she needed confirmation. She wanted to hear that she was indeed a suspect, so that she could exercise her Miranda rights and remain silent. She asked multiple times what the interrogation was all about, but each time the detectives avoided her question while getting more words from her. Finally, she directly asked if they considered her a suspect, and they confirmed that she was.
You're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with, you know, with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this? Is that what you're saying?
We're trying to figure out what happened, Stephanie.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, do I need to get a lawyer if you're accusing me of this? You know,
you don't have to. I mean, you know,
I'm just,
you're here of your own free will. I mean,
no, I know, but
I mean, you know, you're not under arrest. You can walk out.
You can leave whenever you like.
Well, but, you know, I'm trying to give you some background of, you know, how I knew him, and now you're telling me that somebody's saying that we had this big old fight, and I don't even know what you're talking about. You know, and I don't want to, you know, get in trouble for something that I didn't even do, or you're saying I did something.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand.
I mean, how would you guys like it if the tables were turned on you?
I understand. No.
No, that's what we're telling you. I mean, you're free to go whenever you want. If this makes you uncomfortable and you want to,
Well, now you're starting to make me uncomfortable.
Once it became clear that she was a suspect but not under arrest yet, she left the room.
I just can't believe it.
I mean, we understand that. I mean, if we were in your position, I mean, we would feel the same way.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, and so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
Well,
that's...
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for giving me the courtesy. I wish I...
After she left, she was arrested and brought back to the room. At this point, she remained silent and requested a lawyer.
If you want to talk to us right now.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
This is crazy. This is I'm like in shock. I'm totally in shock.
Stephanie was convicted in March 2012 of the first-degree murder of Sherri Rasmussen.
Find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherri Rasmussen in violation of penal code.
She is currently serving a 27-year life sentence for the offense. Even though Stephanie had 23 years to get ready and practice for this situation, and she had been through many police interrogations in her long career, she was surprisingly performed this poorly. After all those years, she probably thought she had gotten away with her crime and wasn't even seen as a suspect anymore.